All right, I think that's good. We can get started. So thank you everyone for joining our webinar today on mastering the sales journey from first contact to final payment. I'm Samara. I will be your host and moderator today. So as mentioned, you should see a chat box on your screen where you can put all your questions in, and our team will be actively monitoring it to respond to you throughout the webinar. We're also going to dedicate some time at the end for questions where we'll be answering it live for everyone to see. So in today's webinar, we'll be introducing ways to master your sales journey from first contact to final payment with QuoteMachine. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Eli, our customer success manager, who will be filling in for Kirsten today as she had to step out. So Eli has been managing an extensive portfolio of retailers, manufacturers, suppliers, you name it, basically many of whom who have very unique business models, and he helps advise his clients on how to manage their sales journey efficiently. So he's been instrumental actually in helping our clients, reduce their costs, be able to scale faster with the right tools, and ultimately optimize their entire sales process. So I'll get off the screen now and let Eli take over.
Hi everyone, thanks for the introduction, Samara. So I will be filling in for Kirsten as mentioned. I will try to fill her shoes as best as we can. But basically we're just going to be doing a quick run through of all of the options that we have available, how you can use each of them to make sure that your sales processes go a bit smoother. And I guess we will hop into it now. So if we go on to the QuoteMachine side, you can see here that we have a demonstration account with lots of stuff set up. Obviously, this isn't going to be exactly what you have for catalog-wise, but all of the normal actions will be the exact same. So what we have set up here is Sky Model Package, which is a preset quote that we have built and ready to go. So we're going to choose this, and then we're going to choose an existing customer. So this time we're going to use George Smith, and we will submit that. So this is going to bring us into the back end, and this is what you will be interacting with mainly. So as you can see here, we have set up a couple of different groups. We have the cabinet group, we have the hot tub model, included upgrades, and spa cover. So each of these has lots of different options attached to them. As you can see down here, you'll be able to do discounts per line item. You can change the actual price, but more specifically, if you would like to do more interactive features with each of these, you have these items optional to you. So in this case, we have multiple choice, we have optional items, we have active, and each of these can be chosen for different reasons. So in this case, if you were to choose optional item here, this basically allows the customer to either add it onto the quotes or not. So you're just giving more flexibility to your customers, putting more of the work in their hands. They feel like they have more control over the whole sales process. As we go down, you can see that this is the choice selected one. You can see that these upgrades are all included. So this is something that maybe your sales team has specified with them prior to everything else going on. And this is going to be in the quotes no matter what. If you wanted to say, make the availability and have an option for these customers to either have more or less of these things, in this case, let's use the hot tub cabinet. We can also say this is an editable quantity. So the editable quantity, again, gives more control to your customers. They can make those choices. And it's a really easy way to upsell and upgrade your customers, increase your basket size, all the good stuff. So as we come down here, there's some more specifics and some of the basics that you're going to need to be able to do a proper quote and move to that invoice stage. So if you're taking a deposit, which I'm sure many of you will be, we have multiple options available for this. So currently we have this set at 50%. This is obviously completely changeable as you see fit. You can make it 25. The other thing that you can do is make it a currency level. So since I'm currently sitting in Canada, obviously CID is the currency, but you can have multiple available, USD, Euro, anything like that is going to be available for you. So you can make it a percentage, but then you can also make it a flat monetary value. In this case, let's just switch back to the 50% because it's a nice clean number. So from there, that is the very easy part, the deposit. You'll also have the option to do fees. Fees are something that you can set up as you will. So right now we have a delivery fee, installation fee, late fee, and this is the exact same thing where you can have either the dollar value or the percentage, and those will be tacked on to the final invoice as they come. Finally, you have the option to do the discount. As we went through before, you can discount each line item, or you can do the full discounts throughout the whole piece. So as we'll come through here, once you have finished creating on the back end, you've created the quote how you want to, you can do multiple things from here. So you can mark it as done and tell the system that you're ready to go, you're ready to send it out. You can send it to your clients or your customer through text message, through the SMS feature, or the email feature. In this case, I'm just going to show you the email feature, where you can have properly set up formatting. You can have it say the customer's name automatically. There's lots of really quick tips and tricks, which is my job here, to kind of optimize this process, make sure things speed up. And one of them is being able to put the company name in here. You can put the customer name, lots of those kind of things. So I'm going to switch out of this, and in this case, we're just going to mark it as done. So what the customer will then get is something that looks like this. So you can see that you've put your logo in, you've made the back really pretty. You have lots of good pictures. In this demo case, you can see that they have lots of really good product pictures. You also have the availability to put in like a YouTube video. So that could be either a video of your product, it can be customer testimonials, that kind of thing, just to really make it an interactive experience with the documents and kind of push that over the edge, which is going to be a lot nicer than the classic 12-point fonts, invoices, or quotes that we're probably more used to seeing. So as we scroll down here, if you remember from our back end, we had lots of different groups. So the group cabinet here, this was the piece where we decided that we were going to make this either optional for the client, and they could also choose how many units or pieces of this they wanted. So let's say they just need 2 pieces, and they're going to include that on their bill. So once they click include, you can see that that's gone up to 2 pieces. We'll include that, and then up here you can see that the grouping price has changed. All right. So as we go down here, we can see all of the specifics for this. We can see that it's selected, included, and then the spa cover has this extra little piece where you can just gain even more information from the clients directly on this document. So in this case, this is the radius, the inches, the amount for this for the pool spa. In this case, you can just put in whatever it needs to be, but these again are all customizable. So it isn't necessarily locked into just the radius and inches. You can call this whatever you want. You can have it be a text field. You can have it be an image field. So let's say you're out on a job and you need information from your client, such as a picture of what you're working on. You can request that kind of information through these documents, which is just a really great way to speed things up and make the customer even happier. So as we keep moving down here, we can see the subtotal, and this is completely interactive with the pieces on the document. So you can see right here, that's at 7,000. If we had gone back up to the top and not selected this, we go down to 0, you can see that that's dropped, right? So the customer gets a really good idea of exactly what they're paying for. They know exactly where it's coming from. And then in this case, they're going to be very nice because you did such a good job doing the sale, and they're going to add on 2 more and increase that basket size for you. So once they've decided that this is all good to go, George is going to sign his name. He's going to sign it much better than I just did. But then you're also going to see a digital footprint and the signature. So this is a great piece in my opinion, and I always recommend it for most of my portfolio. It's not only a great way to kind of put your professionalism up, but it's also a great way to fight chargebacks. So if you have customers that are trying to take their money back, pull out of deals, you kind of have the stopper card. You can say, look, you signed, here's the digital signature, all this information. It's just really good to have in your back pocket. Finally, at this stage, they can make comments on this. They can say, all great, let's do it, something like that, right? So they'll do this, and then they'll say, yes, I'm George Smith, agree to accept this quote, and they will click accept. Since you have requested a deposit, that 50% deposit, they will then be prompted to put in their card information to pay for this. So in this case, we're just going to show you the card information, and we have our own processor for this. But you can also do ACH transfers. And then, of course, you will have the options to do cash, check, direct transfer, all of that kind of stuff. But since this is the normal way to do it, we're just going to show you here. So George, and then we're going to use our demo card to put this through. So once this goes through, it's going to load for a little bit because it's this demo card. But once this goes through, it's going to push all of the information from this document into our backend. So again, you can see all of this information, where it was taken, the visa, all that kind of stuff. And now when we come back into our back end and the piece that you're going to be interacting with the most, you can see all of this new information. So you can see that the document has been viewed one time. You can see the payment ID. You can see this piece again. You can see exactly where it was signed, who it was signed by. You have all of these signatures by George Smith. You have all of this nice stuff. So now, in this case, you got the confirmation from the client that this has been an accepted quote. You're going to come down here and click 1. If for some reason it didn't go well, you have other options. You can say it's lost, or you can say it's lost and you're going to create a new quote. But for the sake of time, we're going to just skip through to the 1 process. So we'll click 1 down here. And then from here, we'll have 2 options. So you'll have the option to create an order, so either work order, whatever you need to call it, or you have the option to skip directly to the invoicing stage. I'm going to show you the order piece now, as some of you are going to need to use that. And it's really just a more detailed version, work order, and again, something that I recommend people do in between the quoting to invoicing stage. So from here, you'll be able to specify which items you would like to be included on this order. So in this case, we're going to do all of them. But if you didn't need to do all of them per se, you can quite simply just click those off, and they're not going to be included on the order. You can also see down here the deposit that we took on the quote. So we're going to apply this deposit and have it passed all the way through in every single stage of our sales process, right down to the invoicing piece. So we're going to create that order, and then it's going to push us to a brand new page, which is the George Smith project order, number 44. So you can come down here and you can see all of these items that you selected from the quotes, all of the items that the customer decided they wanted to pay for has been pushed over to this order stage. So we'll have multiple options here. And the one that I'm clicking on now is a line item status. So the line item status is more for internal communication. You can communicate with your team better what has to be done on this stage, and these are all customizable. So in this case, since it is the pool and spa demo account, we're going to see statuses that are related to this kind of industry. So let's say that this 2-person hot tub is in repair. You can mark that there. That the hot tub cabinet needs assembly, you mark that as such, right? So we get the idea, waiting on approval, all this stuff all the way down. The other nice part, if you have multiple people on your account and multiple people working on an order, you can actually assign a specific person to each of these line items. So you can see here that this is just assigned to Amelia, but if Rob, Bob were to be assigned to this one line item, you can make that change very easily. Of course, if you are wanting to have the entire document assigned to one person, that is also available up here. So we'll back out of that. And then from this page, once you decide that this is the pieces that you need, it looks good, you can again click mark as done or email it to the customer. So in this case, we're just going to click mark as done because it's going to pull up for us the option to create purchase orders. So as you can see down here, we have this create purchase order button. So if you're needing to create a purchase order for a specific line item, for the entire order, this is available to you. So this actually links directly to our new inventory management system. So that's a great way to kind of converge all of the pieces of your business into one software. It's something that we're really excited to be promoting now, and I will show you how it kind of works from here. So if you're needing to create this purchase order, you can choose specifically which pieces you want to have create a PO, or you can create one PO for the entire thing. So in this case, we're just going to create 2 POs, and we're going to select the vendor that we want this to go to. So we're going to send this to vendor Jonathan Doe. So once you create that purchase order, we will be moved over to the inventory stage, where you can see all of the pieces that are going to be required in this order to be created as a PO. So from here, you can see this, you can change the specifics if you're needing to. If you need to interact with the customer, or excuse me, if you're needing to interact with the vendor, give them specifics, you can say, please cut this to the exact specifics. Anything like that. Obviously, you can have it as you will. It's very, very customizable, very flexible. So there we go, and we're going to mark that as done. And then as you go through, you would send that email to the vendor, and you would then wait for the pieces to come in, and I will show you exactly what that's going to look like back on the order. So as I mentioned before, you're going to be able to follow everything through. As you can see at the top here under reference, we have a link to the order. that these POs are connected to. So when we click here, we're going back to the original order. And you can see, normally there will be a link down below of all of the purchase orders that are linked to each specific item. So if we come back to that specific order, let me refresh here. Yeah, if we go back to that specific order, you can see that there is 0 out of 2 received, 0 out of 1 received, and let's just receive those items to speed things up. Great, so now that's gone green, you know everything's good to go. And let's say that the order is now good to go as well. So we'll click back into that. And we'll say in total, this is packed up, completed, ready to go. Right. So this piece down here is just like the line item statuses, but it has everything involved for the entire order. So once this stage is good to go, you've decided that the order is completely filled out, everything's good. We're going to step on into the order, to the invoicing phase. Again, one of the pieces for the invoicing, the ability with QuoteMachine to do partial invoicing is something that we actually don't see very often in a lot of other softwares. So if you're not wanting to invoice everything at once, you do have the option to do so. So let's say you only want to invoice these pieces, just partially invoice it. You have that option. So we'll create the invoice for these 4 items. We can come into here, make sure everything's good. You can add the fees as you see fit. You can add another deposit, change the taxes. Again, just showing you how flexible it is, and it's going to fit into a lot of different use cases for you. So we're going to mark this one as done, and we are going to send it away to the customer. And there we go. So we'll be prompted basically to apply that deposit that we took at the very beginning on the quoting stage onto this invoice. So let's say we want to do that. We'll click in here and we can see, oh, perfect. From the quote, we have that 50% deposit. So in this case, we're going to apply the deposit to the partially invoiced piece. So you can see the deposit has been paid, all that good stuff, right? That's all gone through. You can see the order it's connected to. You can see the quote that it's connected to. Since we just partially invoiced, I'm going to go back to the order to show you what that looks like. So you can see from here that these pieces with the order 1 out of 1 invoiced, 1 out of 1 invoiced, and these are the pieces that we invoiced, right? So the only 2 pieces that are left are these 2 up top. So let's say these are good to go. We'll change these to a waiting for approval, or more likely a good to go or a green button, whatever you need to make it. And we'll create the rest of that invoice. So we're then going to create that last 2 pieces and invoice the rest of it. See, we still have a bit of that deposit left, so let's use that here. And then, perfect, all good to go. Now we're going to finally accept the payment for the rest of the invoice and everything else that's gone on. So I'll show you what the invoice is going to look from the customer side, from the customer side. They're now going to see whatever beautiful invoice you decided to make for them. The quote was different. You can make it different from the invoice, or you can have everything look the exact same. So you can see the invoice for these 2 pieces that we had. You can see the hot tub. This is a nice little addition down here. So you can have a text field in that. You can gain feedback from the customer. You can do all these kind of stuff. Another way to really promote your business, get more feedback from your customers, and of course, lead to more sales. So they are going to sign again for this invoice piece. They're going to put in all their information again. And there we go. They're going to pay for this partially invoiced piece. So once that goes through, we'll switch back to our end here. You can see that this is still loading, so we'll just wait for this to go through. And you can see perfect. So they've made the whole payment, right? We have everything else going on. And that is basically how the workflow is going to work. So you can go from the quote stage all the way to the order stage and the invoice stage. Again, this is a very, very flexible platform. We have lots more that you can do with it. The inventory management system is a very new piece for us, something that we'd love to show even more. And I think that's, as we grow as a business, we're going to be offering lots of new things, excuse me. And we would love to kind of get down and do it specifically with you guys. So we do offer lots of one-on-one onboarding sessions for the team. We have lots of ways that we would love to interact with you and learn more about your business so that we can apply it to our system. So thank you everybody for coming today. If you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them for you now. How much does it get started? How much does it cost to get started? Our payments and inventory extra. So our base price varies, and it varies depending on multiple things. So primarily it is where you're located. So we have Canadian, Euro, Great British Pounds, of course, Americas. But in general, it starts at around $79. And then it can add on different programs or different pieces to go up to, I can't think of the specifics now, but it will start at a pretty low price and vary depending on location and even integration. So if you're looking to integrate with QBO, Lightspeed, Shopify, it'll vary based on those prices. As for payments and inventory, so payments is included for every single account. It is not something that we make you guys pay for. It is our processing fee, just like everybody else's, and that is included with everybody. For the inventory management system, that is an add-on. It is, I believe, $150 per month. But the great thing about that is if you're using one of your integration features, if you're using a whole different platform, for integration for inventory, this is something that you can just add on to our side, have the whole ecosystem in one place, and cut down on your tech stack. So you can kind of frame out some other different things.
Yeah, and I just like to add to that. So when it comes to costs, it starts at $79 USD, and it can go up to around $300 USD. And with inventory, as Eli said, if you are using your own integration, then you have the option, while payments is completely included in the plans, so you don't have to pay anything extra for that. With inventory, we give you the option whether or not you want to pay extra or just use your existing integration. Yeah. All right, the next question, and feel free to put your questions in the chat, by the way, everybody.
Okay, so how long is the onboarding process? Great question. And that varies. So we offer free onboarding for every single person that comes and uses QuoteMachine. In general, we like to have a multi-stage process where we connect with you a couple of times to ensure that you have a really good understanding of the software. So while this is a very intuitive software, we want to make sure you have a very deep understanding of it so you can get the most out of it. We generally start right off the bat with a 40-minute session with one of our team members. And then we like to follow up a couple of times to make sure that everything has gone well. Post that, you will be connected with one of our account managers, one of our customer success representatives, maybe myself. So you'll always have a point of contact. But in general, the onboarding process is a multi-stage thing where we make sure that you have everything that you need.
Yeah, and again, I'll just add to that to say for inventory onboarding, if you do end up switching to inventory afterwards, that's a separate onboarding process. Typically it's $300, but right now we are offering it for free, full onboarding and support. Just reach out to our team and we can help you set it up. But yeah, are there any more questions from anybody? If you can also email me if you're having any trouble with the chat. I know I got some questions through emails, which I put up. All right. Well, I guess if is there anything else you'd like to add today, Eli?
No, I think that's all. Hopefully
Awesome.
if some of you join us, we will be paired together, and I look forward to working with you all.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Take care. Bye.